everyone. Welcome back to another session of Women in STEM, Heroes Among Us, an international online symposium organized by STEM Community IUB. I'm Tanfia Khan Disha, and I'll be the host for tonight's session. Before I begin today's session, I would like to thank our sponsors, Invent Technologies and Raj Laptop Gallery, and our community partners, IEEE IUB Student Branch and their affinity group, Women in Engineering, Community of Biotechnology, Exom IT, and Learning Hub. Thank you to all our sponsor and media partners. So today we have with us Alejandra Sierra. I earnestly thank you for gracing us with your presence, Alejandra. We're really honored to have you on board as a session speaker in the symposium. Alejandra Sierra is a researcher at ICVV Logroño, Spain, and also the former president of National Biotech Commission at Guatemala. She will be sharing us her valuable insight in this in her dynamic career in this field and impactful contribution so far. Now I'm handing over the floor. The floor is yours, Alejandra.
Thank you very much, Tanfia. Hello, everyone. I'm going to start my presentation. I will share my screen. Just give me a second. Let me see. Okay. So it's here right now. Okay. So hello again, everyone. As Tanfia says, I'm Alejandra Sierra, and I would like to share today about my experience in STEM, what I have done, what I have worked, what I'm going to work in the future, and I hope you have many questions of how I get here. So for starting, I want to share that everything that you do begins with an idea. For example, if you are craving for something to eat today, you need to or cook it for you or go to a place to eat it. Or if you have an idea of what to do for the holidays or for the weekend. So when we started, like, for example, thinking about our career, everything starts with an idea. Maybe we see a movie, maybe we watch a symposium, or someone motivates us to take a decision. So one of the first ideas that we started when we started growing up is when we were children and we would just used to play, like, for example, to be a teacher or to be a doctor or to be an astronaut or to be a dancer or an artist. So we started having different ideas when we started growing up. When we face like that age, and you will see a lot of pictures of me like in this presentation, we need to take a very big decision when we finish school and we start to think about college, like what I'm good at it, what I like to do. And in my case, I was like very worried about if I was very good at maths. When I started school, I was afraid of maths and I wasn't very good at it, or I wasn't very good at physics. So that conditioning my decision to what to study in college. I was thinking about medicine or maybe an engineer, but I was very scared, or I have a lot of fears about what decision to make. So one of the ideas that I want to start here is that we are what we see. We are products of our surroundings. So at the time that I have to make that decision, I have a lot of fears, and my surrounding can make me change my decision. So what I mean about that is that, for example, if we see in this left side, sorry, this small graphic, a lot of people, when they were asked if they think that women are considered or are appropriate for strong or hard science like physics, IT, mathematics, most of the people think that are appropriate for men, but not for women. So that kind of surrounding, that kind of ideas, like, it's impregnated in all of us. So we need to change that. And that's why I put this in the right side, about that you need to be surrounded by people that you admire or by people that are doing the different kind of job. So these kind of women that you see in the right side, you can see that they are appropriate to study hard and study STEM science. So here I am. I finished college. I decided to be a chemical biologist, which here is like being like a biochemist, like clinical biochemist. And I was the first woman scientist in my family. None of them was deciding to study science, and for me, it was a very important decision, and I was happy to do it. But the thing about that is that when you get out of university, you figure out that you come to reality. And one of the reality is that you see that there is a lot of global warming, inequality, unemployment, corruption. So it's kind of scared that you are just starting to finish your career and you want a job or a good work. And there is a lot of things that you have to face. For example, I'm from Guatemala, and my country is developing country. So this is the kind of issues that I find out. So in this case, um, I was scared, not about only about the reality that surround me, but about my fears that I have in my interior. So for example, just give me a moment. Sorry. So as I was saying, this is my fears, my personal fears. So one of them was lack of experience. When I started my job, for example, I didn't have any experience. I was just studying, or I was afraid of public speaking. I was like afraid of what people think about me because I didn't have experience, or I didn't have many publications. So I was afraid of what to do or what to share. And I always think, what will happen if I'm not good enough? So those of these fears make me like run to my comfort zone. Like I don't want to do something that makes me scared. And the problem with this is that when you're in your comfort zone, as we see in this little circle, is that you're not facing what is reality outside, that there's not where the magic happens. And what I mean about that is that when you see and you identify what are your fears, because all of us have your own fears, you need to identify it and you have to face them, you have to fight them. And how do you do that? Well, it's very easy. It's like the cat here in this gift. You need to look for opportunities. For example, I will say, I talk to you about my fears and I will tell you how I accomplished it or how I overcome this. So, for example, the lack of experience, I apply for internships. I apply to do like, for example, holiday internships or have a temporary jobs. So in this case, in this picture, in the yellow circle is my first boss. That for me was my first mentor or coach. She teach me how to be a criminalist, a forensic. I was a forensic for 5 years because I want to impact my community in the justice line. As I told you just slides before, Guatemala is a very corrupt country. So I wanted to help to the justice system. So I started working in that. So that's why I had that kind of strange suit. Then I was figuring out that because of my country was too corrupt, I didn't impact the community as I wanted. So I need to change my specialization. I was a clinical, then forensic, and then I think I want to impact the community. And I start looking for opportunities again. And that's when biotechnology presented to my life. But one of the challenge was that biotechnology wasn't a career when I made the choice after school. And it wasn't a career, like not until now in the public university. So we don't have these opportunities. So I have to get out of my comfort zone and look for opportunities outside my country. So I started looking at it. And one key tip for you, if you are looking for opportunities too, it's very important the language that you use to look for information. So, for example, I'm from Guatemala. We speak Spanish. So the first things is looking in Spanish. And what I wanted you to see is the amount of results that are there. So when I started looking in Spanish, I have 130,000 results. But when I do it in English, because science is writing in English, I have more than 126 million of results. So the way that you look for opportunities is determined by the language that you use in the explorer. So I started looking for opportunities in master's degree in biotechnology. And the second question was, how do I have that opportunity. So I need a scholarship because no one can pay me for to live abroad. I need a grant or I need a loan. It will depend on my CV, for example, what grades do I have. I was 5 years without studying, for example. At the time that I decided to study a postgraduate, I was 30 years old. So I was scared about my age too. And I didn't have someone like give me the money. So I need to apply for scholarships. So again, like the cat in the gift, I started looking for opportunities again. And one of the opportunities was presented to me in 2016 to study abroad in Spain, to study a master's degree in biotechnology. Here, this experience is what I feel what the magic happens. Why? It is because I get out of my country, I get out of the comfort zone on my job or my family or the life that I was created to look for an opportunity to specialize in something that in Guatemala was impossible. So I started this master and I put this picture because it's very important to me, because in my mind, when I work with STEM, you always think that you're working with scientists, but that's not the general idea. When you're working with STEM, of course you work with mathematicians, with physics, with technology, with science. But one of the things is that you need to work, for example, with logic, with commercial engineers, with people in international relationships. We need people in diplomatic science, for example. We need a professional translator. Imagine that you create bioentrepreneurship or you have a very good research result. If you want to translate it in different languages, you need a professional translator. Or imagine that you think that your mechanism in the field that you are, it can be patent. You need a lawyer to help you with that. Or for example, if you want to create an business, or you want to do a community lab, or you want to teach, or anything that you want, you need to know about business or the model business has to be sustainable. Or if you want to have a different office in different parts of the world, you need international relationships. So one of the key points that I learned in my master's degree, that it was blending with a business, was that I need to work as a scientist in STEM with a lot of different professions. And this master's, what opened my mind too, was that I have this opportunity to work and study with people with different backgrounds in different cultures. For example, people from Costa Rica, Colombia, Mexico, Morocco, Brazil. So that opened my mind too. So when I was started in Guatemala, I'm like here with these different blue circles. It's different kind of blues, but normally when you choose your friends, for example, or the people that you work with, you share a lot of ideas. For example, you share the music that you like, or you share the things that you want to do in your free time. So you tend to think alike when the people that you get together more often. And the thing about that is that we create like a bubble or a filter that is perpetuated with your social media. So, for example, you know that when you're on Twitter or TikTok or Instagram, you see or you watch what you like. So imagine that you like science. So you will look for videos, they were suggested videos of science. And if you like cats or dogs, you kind of see that kind of videos. But the thing is that maybe there are videos or ideas or research projects that you don't know about. This is the circle that are different colors because you don't get out of your comfort zone or the circle that you are used to. So the thing is that the master's degree, what made it to study abroad, was that I get in contact not only with my blue circles that I like, because you don't have to let them out, but you have to, besides you, the people that you get comfortable with, different backgrounds, different people, so you can learn from different places. So after I finished my master's degree, I returned to Guatemala because if you remember, I wanted to impact the community. So in this case, I wanted to impact in STEM and in science. So what I started to do was apply what I learned, the business and marketing for scientists. I applied to teach them at college for students. So the people that were my same career, I was teach them how to be an entrepreneur, how to apply for grants or for funding for your research. So, for example, if you want to communicate science, how do you do that? So I started teaching that on 2018. I also figured out that even I'm a scientist in STEM, we need to create an ecosystem, for example, in my developing country as Guatemala. So I need to participate in politics because I need to change or regulate some things. I want to keep having this international exchange because it makes me full of these ideas that I'm sharing with you. I also like to work in health. So, for example, I work with women in health in Guatemala. I create multidisciplinary spaces. I was used to work just with scientists, but after my experience, I started creating these multidisciplinary spaces, and I wanted to help others to accomplish these dreams that I had. So one of the things is that you remember that I shared to you that I was afraid of public speaking. If I will be with that fear until today, I couldn't have international experience. And this is here is me in Boston in MIT. I'm giving a talk about how to overcome the challenge in biotechnology in developing countries. And if I was too afraid, I couldn't apply for that. I was afraid when I applied to be a speaker, but even though I did it. So that's the kind of things that you should do. Not even that fear cannot stop you. And here I met Tom Peters. He's from Belgium. And because he heard my talk, we started working together in research for biosensors. In this international conference, that it's open, so if you want to apply and you like biotechnology, you can apply. This time is going to be online, but I was here with a lot of people. So imagine there's people from Africa, Asia, Europe, America. So I get in contact with different colors of ideas and different backgrounds, different experience, different professions. There were artists too. There were not just scientists. There were people that mix science with artistic stuff like music, painting, or biomaterials. So you need to keep in touch with these kind of activities. And that's me in the red circle. Here, of course, you always find, as I told you, in your comfort zone. So in my comfort zone are Latin American people. And here I met Daniel Dominguez, who introduced me to the other parts of the participation of biotechnology. So thanks to him, I applied to be part of Cambridge Biotechnology Conference. And I also right now be the leader of BioFellows. I was a pod leader. And here you can see Bushra, that is all a speaker here in the STEM symposium too. So I have met a lot of people around the world, and I'm very happy to do that. And I also, after my master's and after that participation in the conference in Boston, as I told you, I meet a lot of people. And I organized the first online conference in biotechnology. Do you remember that I told you that biotechnology wasn't an opportunity in Guatemala? So I was introducing the topic in Guatemala, and that's why here is Salman Pramon. He was one of my speakers at that time. So I thank Salman for that presentation. I returned to Guatemala and I became a university professor. And I started working in biotechnology a lot. So I became the first woman president in all the history in Guatemala. Even though we didn't have the career, we started working in Guatemala with that. And that was a big accomplishment back in my country. There is the Embassy of India that is giving me recognition for being the first woman president there. And after that, do you remember that the ones in black was my ideas when I returned to Guatemala? So in green one is the results of my ideas. I take the idea and I make it real. So I become a professor. I introduce it into politics. So I started a commission of biotechnology. I keep going to international conferences. I'm part of WBESD, which is the Organization of Women in Science in Developing Countries. I get connected with students with different professions at different universities. So if you want to know something about biotechnology, reach me, please. And I also coach and mentor, and I like to keep being a public speaking, like in this symposium, to share what I have done. So the thing about this is that all ideas grow other ideas. So you need to start to think about what do you want, because success is like a snowball. What it means is that the more you roll in the right direction, the greater it gets. So in 2022, what I have done, I wanted to working in democratize science to promote bioeconomy, to study abroad again. So I want to learn about community labs and improve teams in Latam, so in Latin America, and keep helping others. So I keep doing workshops, conference, and science communication. I managed to apply for funds, so I made it to develop the first study in bioeconomy for my country. I'm right now in Spain and I'm studying a master's degree in biophysics and quantitative biotechnology, and I'm 35. When I return to Guatemala next year, I want to create the first department in biophysics. And I'm right now doing consultory, and I'm a consultant to develop a guide for community lab in Latin America, and I'm keep being a coach. I coach students for iGEM, for example, or for Bio Design Challenge, or for Innovation for Health. But the thing is that I'm sharing my story, but this is the path that I chose and I create. But all of you, you have to create your own. You don't have to follow my path. You have to create yours. So to do that, I will give you a key takeaways about what do I have done, or I would advise it to you. So one of the things, as you hear me almost in every single slide, was get out of your comfort zone. Remember, the magic do not happen when you get in the comfort zone. So here I wanted to be very graphic about it. When you're in your comfort zone, you feel safe and in control. So that's why we never want to get out of there. And the next zone is the fear zone. So it's when you feel lack of confidence, you find a lot of excuses. Like, for example, it was like, I'm not good at math, I'm not good at physics, I'm very old to have a postgraduate, or I don't have the money, I don't have the time. So we find always excuses, and we are affected by other opinions. So it's very important what kind of people is around you. But if we overcome the fear zone, we will get to the learning zone. So there we will going to deal with the challenge of like, I'm scared about public speaking, but even though I'm going to do it. So let's see what happened. I will acquire new skills. So right now I'm public speaking. Now I'm a coach. Then I'm a mentor. And I extend my comfort zone. So the zone that I was beginning in the red circle, very small, I get it big because I will feel safe and in control when I'm in the learning zone. And then I can pass to the growth zone. Is where you live your dreams, you find your purpose, you set new goals, and as I told you, the idea become another ideas, and every time that you create more ideas, they are bigger, and you will get there. Another key takeaway that I want to share with you is that you need to work in multidisciplinary teams. As people, as scientists, people, we always work with the same profession. If we are mathematicians, we work with mathematicians. If we are tech, we will work with tech. So I want to change that to you. That's why I shared this kind of relationship circle. When all of science are related to each other. So for example, even though you are working in computation and maths, this discipline is related to engineer, but also with chemistry, but also with clinical medicine, with material science, with basic science, with everything. So everyone is connected, and every single of us that work in STEM and outside STEM, we are connected because we want to create new knowledge for the world. And also, for example, when you are doing research, you get more funding if you have a multidisciplinary team. Multidisciplinary is not just about profession, but gender, about age, about background, about experience. So I just put this example that if you want to develop, for example, new pharmaceutical or new drugs, you need a whole different bunch of professions. You need biochemists, you need chemists, you need biotechnologists, you need business people, you need lawyers, you need people communicating science, you need people that know how to have funds or grants or big pharmaceutical companies, you need students, you need research. So there is a lot of people that work together to have one solution. So try to work with multidisciplinary teams. Another thing is that you have to keep updated and communicate your job. Um, you know that science is changing. There's fields that are changing more than others, but you need to keep updated. You don't know how can you impact the life of someone else, so always communicate what you're doing. This is, for example, the kind of competitions that you can apply. For example, iGEM, that is synthetic biology, or biodesign challenge, that is that if you want to create a new material from something biological. If you like sequencing, you can apply to Wellcome Sanger Institute, or if you like about medicine or cleaning, you can apply for Innovation for Health of Johns Hopkins Hospital. And if you are, for example, a professional already, or if you are a university professor, you can create a team and you can be coach of your students to apply for these kind of competitions. Also, you can be a speaker. It does not matter what age are you, if you haven't finished college, if you already finished college like 10 years ago, if you don't have any postgraduate, or if you have postgraduate, it does not matter. You always have something to share. You need to share your experience. As me, I am a scientist outside the laboratory. I work in leadership. I work to manage grants. I work to manage people. So I like to share this experience, and I like to help others to to have the resource to do the research or to get the opportunities to study abroad. So that's why I have been participating and speaking in Global Community Bio Summit that is in Boston, also in BioBeta that is in Boston in United States too. I have been applied to the Global School for Social Leaders, that's in Austria. I have been participating in Global Biotech Revolution in Cambridge, and I have been one of 100 leaders of biotechnology in Latin America and worldwide. And the only thing that you need to do that is just to get out of your comfort zone and apply to this competition. Something that I repeated too was cultivate your network. And I want you to think about how diverse is your network. If we are thinking about your comfort zone, your comfort people, your friends, the people that you work, what age do they have? Are they the same gender? Are they the same professions? Are they the same backgrounds? You need to think about how diverse is your network. And I heard Eric Smith in a conference in the United States in BioBeta. He was the CEO of Google, and he said in that presentation that he wasn't the most smart people in his classroom in college. But what he did was to get together with the smartest people, because the smartest people that are more prone to success. So he says, like, you need to know about your strong points. You can be the smart people, but you can be very good at communicating, or if you're very good at writing, or you are very good at the lab job. So you need to build your close friends very like clever. So you need to have people that wants to impact the community, people that are intelligent, and are the people that you have to meet with. And then they have your friends and your acquaintance, or your the public, general public. But your close friends, you need to choose, and you choose them. So try to choose the people that bring and the best ideas or the best things to your life. Other thing that I want you to show you is that there is a 6 degree of separation theory, that you are just six people far from the people that you want to meet. So this is an example. Of course, this is Kevin Bacon, that's an actor. But what I want to graph it here is that you start here, and if you want to meet Kevin Bacon, you can do it just to talk to 6 people, and you will get to anyone in the world. That means your favorite singer, your favorite artist, your favorite actor. So you are 6 degrees of this. So if you're in STEM, you are 6 degrees from people that have been done an amazing job. For example, I met a Nobel Chemistry Prize, Sir Gregory Winter. He's the one who developed monoclonal antibodies, and I was talking to him and I was asking how he get to be so successful in his PhD, and he says that he didn't have an idea or that his study is going to bring a lot of good applications and value to the health in worldwide. And he says that the key point was have a multidisciplinary team because he didn't know anything about patents or he didn't know about business. So that was important to him to have people surround him that help him with that, and that you just have to do what you love. The other things, or the sixth degree, is that I was a speaker in IGEM in Paris this year, and I'm speaking with people with Malaysia, Kenya, India about what are the challenges in synthetic biology. And as I repeated, in synthetic biology, there is not a career yet in Guatemala. And even though I'm here speaking about it, because I want to create that opportunities for others. So to finish, I really want to share to you that you need to have a clear idea of what do you want to impact. What is the future that you want to create for others? So in my case, as I told you, and as a conclusion, I work with health. I work with genomics in diagnostic of rare diseases. I'm a key speaker. I talk about science. I talk about multidisciplinary team. I talk about we as women, as people from developing countries, we can do a lot of impact in the world. I love to work with students with organizing conference workshops or everything related with science, biotechnology, and bioeconomy. And this picture with my mask is here at my master's degree in biophysics. Even though I'm 35, I'm almost finishing my master's degree, and I can't wait to return to Guatemala and share what I have learned in biophysics and start that department there. So I want you to think about what is your dream. Find the group of society that you want to impact. Think about if you want to work with girls in STEM, girls like in school, or with kids, with children, with old people. Do you want to work with scientists? Do you want to create something for health, for economy, for industry, for pharmaceutical? You have to think about and which kind of group do you want to impact, and you have to work toward that. And this, I will finish with this quote, and it's from Marshall Gans that says that leadership is accepting the responsibility to create conditions that enable others to achieve shared purpose in the face of uncertainty. So I hope that I motivate you with this talk to be a leader in STEM, accept that responsibility, and help others to achieve their shared purpose. So I'm here for you. This is my social media. If you want to talk to me, I can help you to apply to scholarship, to apply for internship, to how to communicate science, or if you want something from biotechnology, or if I don't know something, but I know someone that can help you, I can contact you. So thank you very much for this space, and I'm here to answer any question that you have.
Thank you, Sierra. I really, really enjoyed the session you and the things that you have talked about. And I really very agree with you that about overcoming fears, how you actually feared about math. It's really similar to in my cases as well. Until I started exploring, I actually loved it, and the same overcoming fears and going beyond the comfort zone. And I'm really inspired that you have went beyond the language boundaries and actually went for scholarship and study abroad. I think you created the magic yourself, and it's really, really inspirational. Like, I really enjoyed it. So now that we have come to our Q&A session, we have a question from our audience if you would like to answer.
For sure.
Soha Rashid has asked you, do you have a network of women in STEM around you to share knowledge and remind you that you are not alone? If so, how did you go about creating that network?
That's an amazing question. Thank you, Soha. In that case, in Guatemala, we have OWBSD. I'm pretty sure in Bangladesh will be a community too. But even if you don't have it, you can create it. That's the part of the leadership. I know that it can be like a challenging thing, but if you think that you need that space that you can share and motivate others, because there's sometimes that we are not feeling motivated enough, you can create it. Because when you talk about this, you have these spaces about how to be women in STEM. Maybe if you have been with spaces that you suffer discrimination, or you don't know how to do it, or you feel afraid of something and you want to share it, if you haven't found that community in the place that you are living, you can create that. And even though if you are not able to create it physically, there is a lot of things that you can contact, like online, for example, to share that kind of thoughts. There is a program in mentoring too for women in science. That's from Africa, if I'm not bad, but they are for all over the world. So if you want to have a mentor, for example, there is a lot of programs around the world. If you want to build one, you can do that, and you can contact with the OWBESD. That, as I told you, is the Organization of Women in Science in Developing Countries, and they can help you to build that. And if you want me to help you, you can reach me, and we can build that together in any place that you are.
That's a great answer. I hope people will more reach out to you to actually create that community for themselves and have more opportunities in future. I think let's see if we have another question from the audience.
Okay.
Okay. So Muhammad Nahid Al-Islam has asked you, how important is it to have a mentor to grow as a leader? And what are some steps to build that type of relationship?
Oh, thank you, Mohammed. Yeah, it's a very good question too. It's very important to have a mentor, and I just want to have these two separate the two words that seem similar. What is a coach and what is a mentor? Coach is the one that we go to when we get to have an ability for right now. So, for example, you need to give a talk and you are afraid of public speaking, so you get a coach so he can or she can give you tips to how to do it well. So it's just a certain time and you have a certain goal that you want to accomplish. When you talk about mentor, it's someone that is going to be with you in a long road. So maybe you're in a college, maybe you're in school, and you want to become a CEO of your own company. So the one thing that you have to do is to look for the CEO of the company that you admire the most. So, for example, in my case, I will admire someone that is from is Ginkgo Bioworks, that is a biotechnology company. So, of course, I will reach if he can help me, or maybe I will choose a different CEO or a people that it's already have done the path for their own. So it's important because they can share to you the advices or how do they overcome their challenge, because we don't have enough life to make all of the mistakes. So if we can learn from the mistakes from others, we can create our new one mistakes, but they can help you when are different difficult choices. So it's, for example, do I study a postgraduate, or I start research, or I go to private, or I go to the industry? Do I become an academic? There is a lot of questions that as scientists we have all the time, and people that is mentors, they can help you how to decide the best for you. A mentor will never tell you what to do, but they will ask the proper questions so you can choose your own path. And the steps to build that type of relationship, write them. For example, there is LinkedIn, or for example, if you read a scientific paper that really impact your life, they always put their mail there. So write to them and set a date and schedule all the time. Like, hello, I read this about you, very punctual. I really want to have talk to you. You can give me 1 hour of your time. Are you free next week? What time is good for you? So every time talk about them, what they do, what do you admire of them, or what are the questions that you want to ask them, and set a time and date, and you can start a mentor relationship. And there is a lot of programs about mentorship. You just have to Google it, like mentor for scientists, and there is a lot of programs around the world that they already have that system.
I think, oh, that's a really great answer, because I think that people really didn't know how to actually reach out to them, and there is a boundary that we do not know, hence we can't go beyond. So it's really helpful that you have said that, and it's now that we know, we can actually reach out to people and actually grow more. Okay, we have one last question from Sadiq Rahman Samin. How have your beliefs, motivations, and aspirations changed over time? When did a career in STEM become a priority or choice?
Thank you for the question. Yeah, normally there's people that are very sure about what they want to do since they are children, for example. For that wasn't my case at all. So I was like looking for answers all the time. I want the only thing that just have been not changing around my life is I want to impact the community. So I started working, as I told you, as a forensic, but I couldn't impact the community as I wanted. I feel frustrated. So I started looking for different answers to the same problem. Um, and I figured out biotechnology. And when I started to look about biotechnology, I started seeing the challenges that it wasn't in my country, that girls are not studying science enough. So I need to study this first to understand it and how to create the opportunities to others. So when I learn about biotechnology and I learn about how different ideas I get in touch with, and for example, I learned from people from Africa that have almost the same challenge that I was having in Guatemala. How do they overcome that? I start looking for STEM circle because that are the people that have been having my same challenge, like discrimination or lack of motivation in women, or they feel afraid of studying that kind of things. So I was just discovered that when I was 30 years old, and when I returned to Guatemala and wanted to create that space. But I wasn't sure before my 30 years old. So it wasn't a direct way. I was in a floor exploring. I keep exploring until now. Right now I'm in biophysics, but I keep in STEM. But I always change because I always am hunger for knowledge. So that's why I change over time. But I'm always in the science field. But that's me.
I think it's about like sticking to it regardless of whether STEM field you actually go for. It's always about STEM here or somewhere else. So I think we have already come to the very end of our session. I would like to really thank you for coming here and actually share your valuable insights, knowledge, and experience, because what you have said, it's very inspirational and actually gave us more points to actually understand and how to reach out, going beyond our comfort zone and actually stand up for ourselves, even if we feel like that we can't, but we can. We have to overcome that fear. I really thank you for coming up here and giving us that motivation, and thank you so much for taking the time and sharing that much valuable knowledge for us and our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the space. Big hugs to everyone and see you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Now that we have already come to a very end of our session, our next session will start in a few minutes. And I would again like to thank our sponsors and our media and community partners for making this event successful. And with that, I would like to conclude this session. Thank you so much. Have a good day.